skills.
Well, you're right.
So you're saying life is the devil?
Essentially, yes.
Transitive property
It's
says.
usually how we like to start the live show. All
Very
right.
pessimistic view on life.
Speaking of this being a live show, we apparently are live now. Yes.
I mean, we're not alive. We're rather dead, but we are live streaming.
We're a little tired. Took a trip to Canada recently. I went from LA to Canada. Super jet lagged now, so that's why we're tired. That's our excuse.
Totally not the same time zone.
And all right, let me do the stuff we do at the beginning of the show. Hi everyone, welcome to Awesome Hardware. Live show, we talk about technology, computer parts, whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Speaking of hell, we occasionally use harsh language, even words that are more potentially offensive than hell, so if you don't like it, get the hell out. Also, we drink alcohol on the show, usually a beer or 2 or 3. We try to keep things reasonable. Feel free to join us if you're of age. Drink responsibly. Cheers, and thanks to all of you guys who are watching us, whether it's live or in the future.
Come on, second wind. Work for me.
Yes. We're kicking back into gear. We're getting hyped now. Speaking of hyped, if you're not hyped already, you will be now that we're trying to sell you stuff. Check out my store at paulshardware.net, and you could potentially buy some sweet, sweet merch. It's all there. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I'll tell you what they are. They're shirts, hoodies, pint glasses, mugs. You can even buy gift cards, so you can tell somebody else to buy stuff at my store. Bottle opener is always popular. paulshardware.net. If you want to buy stuff from Kyle's store, it's bitwit.tech, and he also sells many things. It's all real nice. And if you do happen to buy something while we are live here on Awesome Hardware, we will shout out your name during the after party, which is coming.
Especially later. If your name is Johnson.
Especially if your name is Johnson.
Then we'll say your name twice.
Yeah, I mean, that's tradition. Okay, that's how we start the show. I guess I should quickly give an explanation why we are late today. It was the jet lag. I already said that. But also, knock on wood, we did have a slight technical issue. So
we had 2 blue screens.
Fingers crossed. Everything seems to be fine now, knocking wood and everything.
There's no wood over there.
But just so you guys know, if suddenly the stream ends, it's that's probably what happens.
So we've been doing this show for how long now?
And when we stream, episode 196.
And we still, for some reason, have technical issues all the time when we stream.
It's a baker's dozen.
At your house, it's the breaker. It's the power overdrawing the power.
Which technically isn't my fault. Technically,
it's your house. You know,
it's the manufacturer of those breakers.
If your house murders someone, you're responsible. You go to jail. That makes sense. And then I've got blue screens. I've got technical difficulties. I've got the better.
Call them breakers because they break.
They do. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Circuit. I guess that doesn't make sense.
Okay,
never mind.
It's like an orange. Why do you call it orange? Because it's orange.
You're right.
It's the oranges of home improvement.
All right, this show's all about learning new things, so
I feel educated.
Some good information for you guys. Wait, were you finished with what you were talking about right there? I feel like you were.
I should be.
You're going down a path.
No, you should cut me off.
Okay. All right. Cutting Kyle off. Switching over.
Always a good idea.
To some news. Technology news, of course. First off, we have a couple articles from Anand Tech. This one's by Dr. Ian Cuttress. You can see him here, dining on his typical breakfast of wafer thin. Yes. Anyway, this article is all about Intel Ice Lake, as well as a bit about Project Athena. It's linked in the description if you guys want to check out the read it off of words and stuff. But if not, you can listen to me regurgitate it to you.
It's like a drunk audiobook.
What do we know about Ice Lake? Why are we dabbling in Ice Lake previews right now? I don't know. Could be any number of reasons. But if you aren't already aware, Intel's first widely available consumer 10 nanometer core processor is codenamed Ice Lake. We've talked about it in the rumor and speculation category for quite some time. Intel has released bits and pieces of information over the past year in particular. You can sort of see their family of architectures here going all the way back to Core. Well, I guess these are all the Core variants
all Core.
Over the years, from Merom to Nehalem to Sandy Bridge, Haswell, Skylake, Ice Lake. I like how they just skip all the stupid in-between ones. They're just jumping up the process nodes here. Yep. But anytime there's a process shrink, I should say. So anyway, there's a few slides from the article talking about some of the expected performance and technologies are going to be integrated into these Ice Lake processors. Just to be clear here, we're expecting these to go into thin and lights and mobile ultra premium devices. So not a discussion of socketed CPUs going on right now, but we are expecting 10 nanometer Intel stuff to be available on the desktop at some point.
That'll be in the form of Rocket Lake, I think, right?
Rocket Lake?
Yeah.
Did we talk about that before?
No,
there's too many lakes now, and so I don't always get them.
Yeah, they got to start going to ponds or oceans or something.
That'd be nice.
But I think there were some Rocket Lake leaks that were recent that we'll be talking about on my half, which are also 10 nanometer.
Oh, we're talking. What's that from?
What is it from?
All right, well,
we're gonna be talking about fucking. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, we already gave the warning. we're talking about Rocket League, or Rocket League,
okay.
Rocket Lake.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned for that.
10 nanometer fun.
That will
2020.
Be. That's in like leaked information though, right?
Of course.
I believe mostly of what Ian is dealing with here is information that is readily available. Nothing is. There's a bit of speculation. Intel is saying that they're expecting an 18% performance improvement, clock for clock, over the original Skylake processor design when it comes to Ice Lake. So that's a nice boost. Granted, again, it's been a while since Skylake launched. That was back in 2015. So you would expect in 4 years that maybe they could get 18%. I would think maybe 10% every 2 years. That's somewhat reasonable, I suppose. Also, though, they're going to have Gen 11 graphics, and they will be the first teraflop single SoC graphics design. When it comes to raw GPU compute performance, I suppose. I'd be curious how that stacks up with AMD's offerings on the APU side. But the official brand name of this series is Intel 10th Generation Core, and these processors will feature, get ready to be blown away, guys, up to 4 cores with hyperthreading.
No.
4 cores and 8 threads.
What is it, 2011?
No, Kyle. It's the future. We're in the future.
Could have fooled me.
These are based on the Sony Cove microarchitecture. They also have up to 64 execution units of Gen 11 graphics. The lineups that are expected are Ice Lake U and Ice Lake Y, and they'll have TDPs ranging from 5 to 28 watts. So super efficient to the slightly more power hungry, still on the ultra portable side. 15 watt, from my understanding, is kind of going to be the mid-range here for these products. So for anyone who's looking for a super thin and light mobile ultra premium device, maybe this will strike your fancy, because Intel does still do good work on that side, we should say. And when you're talking about something that you want to take on the go, to have a computer, laptop, then I expect these to be reasonably competitive, because that's an area of the market that AMD has not quite dived into. Dive. It's past tense of dive.
Dived. They haven't
dovinated.
Divined.
Divined.
Dove. I think it's dove.
Point being,
That's dove. That's a bird.
If you're thinking about getting a new laptop, but you're not quite ready yet, and you're willing to wait maybe 5 months or so, we're expecting these around the Christmas time, around the end of the year when people decide they can spend money again. End of 2019. That's what we're looking at.
Cool.
Other important things here. And these are important. I mean, we're critical of Intel, but I also want to give them credit where credit is due. These are going to have updates for security updates for Spectre and Meltdown. That's good. That's something that we've been waiting for. People who need a laptop that they need to be super secure, that's important. Also, AVX512 extensions. Thunderbolt 3 support for up to 4 full bandwidth ports. That's real nice too. Editing on the go, something like that. CNVI support for Wi-Fi 6. There is still pretty limited information on this though, so we do not have like a full processor list or anything like that. This slide here specifically is from back in May, which listed sort of like some vague ideas of what they're going for here. They're still going to have Core i3, i5, and i7. Turbo frequencies up to 4.1 gigahertz. Graphics frequency up to 4.1. Did I say 4? Wow.
I don't know.
4.1 gigahertz max turbo frequency on the CPU. 1.1 gigahertz on the GPU. So cool. And memory support for up to DDR4 3200. LP4X 3733. I don't understand what that means. Anyway, maybe some faster memory available too.
Is it using Intel's own graphics?
Yes.
What kind of integrated graphics are they using now on these?
I told you, Gen 11 graphics.
Gen 11.
1 teraflop, single SoC design.
Oh, okay. Is that still under the? That's
I don't know if this is going to be like using the same graphics, stuff that they're designing for the XE stuff that they keep teasing.
Yeah.
With fake pictures of graphics cards. But maybe I don't know. It's hard to say. Gen 11 graphics. If Gen 11 graphics is also what they're using for the architecture they're developing for the XE stuff, then
it's confusing that it's 10th gen CPU and 11th gen graphics.
That's true.
On the same
the
chip.
generations are off. There's a split there.
It makes my tired brain hurt.
Me too, Kyle. But it's okay. Don't worry. We'll get over the Vancouver jet lag soon enough. That's all I have to say about that. No, there's one other thing.
I love it.
There's one other thing, and that is that this goes back to Computex. Some vendors were showing some potential configurations for devices that they might bring to market. So this is Dell, for example, here. Why is it so small? It's too small. Look at that. So processor options. These are 10th gen Intel Core processors. The i3 10005 G1.
No, 1005.
1005? 1005. 1005. The 1005. The i5 1035 G1. The i7 1065 G7. Those are interesting product names.
It seems like even the i7 seems like a low-ranking chip for some reason.
A little bit. I mean, you're going back to a 1000 base number, so that's slightly awkward.
Which is weird because, yeah.
I don't know. Intel was also dealing with, I think, something similar to like NVIDIA, when NVIDIA got up to the 900 series with graphics card and they had the 980, whatever, and then they went to the 10 series and everyone was like, you can't call it a 1080 because everyone would be like, that's for 1920, but 1080. Stuff like that.
They didn't care about that.
Intel's also there at the 9900K, so where do you go from there?
Yeah.
You go to a 5-digit number? No. Those are bullshit leaks.
Draw the line at 4.
A few weeks back.
Or 5. Yes.
So anyway.
Bad leaks.
Stuff coming soon. Still a little bit early to speculate, but some interesting information from AnandTech there. Let's move on. Corsair has purchased Origin PCs. Look at that.
They're just snatching up everyone these days, aren't they?
Corsair.
Those Corsair guys.
They gathered up Elgato.
Yeah.
They've acquired Origin.
Corsair's everywhere. You can't escape them.
They've munched on Mushkin? No, that's not true.
It just had a nice ring to it.
It would.
Makes you wish that it was true.
I want
just so
them
you
to
could say
acquire
it.
Mushkin somehow now so they can say that. That'd be fun. Anyway, Origin PC, you guys, if you're not familiar, they're a boutique PC builder. They make really high-end systems. You'll often see them sponsoring LAN events or something like that, and they'll have rows and rows of super sweet Origin PCs that they put together. This happened on Wednesday, or the announcement came out from Corsair on Wednesday. Purchased for an undisclosed sum. I would like to be purchased for an undisclosed sum.
Kinky.
It does sound kind of kinky. Wait.
Let's speculate what that could mean for the next 10 minutes. No.
You're right. Or what that sum might be. Is it less than $1? Because it really, undisclosed, leaves a wide range. Yeah. What if it was really some, like, you're like, oh, it must be
big.
$1 billion. What if it's just really, really small?
Like $30 and a slice of pizza.
Like we gave them $30, they were fine with it, but they're like, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, right. I could see why they'd want that.
Probably a little bit more than that. As for Origin as a brand, they still will remain Origin as a separate brand from Corsair, similar to how Elgato is working, but everyone just kind of knows Elgato and Corsair are part of the same company now. Kind of the same way we'll go with Origin. They're still maintaining their offices in Miami, Florida, and from my understanding, they're still maintaining their employees. No word on right now on anyone being fired or anything like that. Hopefully that's not the case. Oftentimes when you get acquisitions like this, that's something that is a concern. But
do you think all Origin cases will switch over to Corsair cases now?
Probably not. It does say that they're probably going to be using more Corsair products, which would make some sense because I imagine
the water cooling
they can
blocks,
maybe
like the new custom, the Hydro series.
Yes,
the Hydro Pro
Hydro series. So we can probably expect to see that because Origin does make full water cooled systems.
That makes sense.
They make custom gaming and workstation machines. Further plans regarding collaboration and integration of the two companies' products will be disclosed in the near future. How vague. Origin PC was founded back in 2009 by former employees of Alienware after Alienware was acquired by Dell, and everyone assumed it would suck after that point. Does it suck now? I don't know.
Dell?
I don't think
Alienware?
Yeah, I don't think I've dealt with an Alienware PC after that happened, but they're still around, right?
Yeah, they're around, for sure.
Anyway, getting distracted. Currently no plans to sell or market Origin PC products outside of North America, though. So if you were in Europe or somewhere and you're like, man, Origin, they really know what they're doing, I wish I could get them here, probably still not going to happen. But anyway, that was one of those sort of random news items that popped up today. And yes, Corsair continues to acquire other parts of the PC market, and although this does expand their capabilities in certain ways, like they get Origin's portfolio of customers and stuff like that, wait, where was I going with that? It's jet lag.
There should be a term for it. Like, even if, clearly we don't have jet lag because it's the same time zone, but con lag.
Shut up.
We call it con lag.
Con lag. Oh, yeah.
We call it con lag. That should be just as valid as jet lag, for all I'm concerned.
Was overstimulated.
Even if the con is down the street from your house, you still have con lag when you return. That's what we have.
I really, no, like, it's frustrating because I began that sentence with a goal in mind, and then it just.
That's me, like every 5 minutes.
It's fine. It's fine. You guys
feel my pain.
You guys know what I was trying to get at, right?
Just drink more beer. It'll help.
Okay. Yes. Moving on. It's summer.
It's totally summer.
It's hot.
It's totally hot.
It's been hot here in Southern California, but pretty normally hot. It's been like insanely hot in certain other areas.
Yeah.
I understand. Midwest and East Coast are getting a lot of heat right now. Europe's like basically an oven. So what better way to beat the heat than with a wearable air conditioner? And not only does it keep you cool on hot days, it also can keep you warm on cool days. So good for the winter as well, potentially. Shut up, Sony Xperia review. This is being developed potentially by Sony, and it's actually a crowd-funded Sony thing. Sony has its own crowdfunding platform called SWORDFIGHT, which I'm loading up right here, although this is in Japanese. I'm going to translate. Let's see how good Google Translate does here. It's called the Rion Pocket. It's a wearable air conditioner, small cooling or heating device the size of a credit card wallet. Weighs only about 85 grams. As you can see, they're crowdfunding.
That's like 85 paper clips, Paul.
You're right, Kyle. That's how much a paperclip weighs a gram?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know.
They've raised 69 million yen so far, which equates to about 69 billion US dollars.
Oh, wait,
no,
what?
It's
$30.
It's like 70,000. It's either 70,000 or $700,000. It doesn't matter.
Same thing.
Anyway, you gotta wear this special shirt.
That looks weird.
So you wear this special shirt.
You got a big bulge.
Here's a video. Let's play the video. There's the actual device right there.
Rock a bulge where it counts.
Yes.
On your neck.
It's capable of lowering a person's temperature by about 13 degrees Celsius. That's 23 degrees in freedom units on hot days. Or if it's cold outside, it can raise your temperature by about 8 degrees Celsius or 14 degrees in Fahrenheit. Also, randomly walk in slow motion. These dudes are like, man, it's hot outside. So hot, I wish I had a Rion Pocket. right?
That's the only way that you could demonstrate a benchmark of this thing in action. Is like one guy looking really sweaty and another guy just totally
like,
fine.
I'm cool. I'm just fine.
I'm literally cool, baby.
So that is the Rion Pocket.
Rion Pocket. So
this is a Peltier for thermal transfer. That's thermoelectric cooling.
I wouldn't be down to
Peltier coolers attempted in the PC space.
I wouldn't be opposed to all of us, like you and I, getting a couple samples of these and testing them out next Computex.
That's a great idea.
Just doing a
We gotta hit
video
up Sony for that.
Yep.
Or we could just donate to the Kickstarter. The prices range. There's a couple different units. There's a more basic unit, and then there's another unit that has like 3 settings or something like that. Prices range from 12,760 yen, which is about $117, up to 19,030 yen, which is about $175, depending on the version you choose and the number of shirts. I don't know if all the shirts are that same color or whatever. I feel like they need to mix up the shirts so you can have style, you know, stylistically. Oh, look, there's a thermal imaging which proves beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Get Gamers Nexus in here.
Difference in temperature.
We need Gamers Nexus in here to quantify how effective this test is.
That's true.
How reflective was the shirt?
If it's a white shirt, then that's garbage.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
We're just measuring the sun.
Absolutely horrible. Yeah.
Damn.
And for all of you guys who have been super excited this whole time because you get hot and sweat a lot, or you just think this is a great idea, only available in Japan. Sorry.
Boo.
That's the only sad part.
It is much more humid over there.
It's also like you'd think like air conditioner usually uses a lot of power, but it says it only uses a small amount of power. It can last a full 24 hours with a single 2-hour charge via USB-C. It's kind of crazy. Compatible with both Android and iOS.
I wonder if it makes any noise.
I don't know.
It just sounds like someone's heavily breathing in your back.
The video didn't seem to make that very clear. It's just
everywhere you go.
It's not even a fan or whatever.
You're
it's
on
just
the subway.
they programmed it to make that noise. It's a recording.
It's just a passive cooler, but with the voice box. It's hot. It just complains on your back. just bitching.
Make it cooler.
It's got 10 different phrases.
No, that's a. See, we should make a competing product.
Yeah, we totally.
It doesn't actually cool you off. It just does that. Probably do better. All right.
Way more valuable.
Word of warning. Oh God! A hacker gained access to 100 million Capital One credit card applications and accounts.
It's a lot.
Yeah. This is a CNN business article.
More than 5.
Description. Yeah. So you know, we. At this point, do you just assume that your personal information is out there in the dark web and, you know, just like whatever, I guess. It's like going to a nudist beach. It's like at some point you just take all your clothes off and you're like, well, screw it. I'm just naked. Who cares? People are going to watch me and judge me. Like, I don't mind.
You got to be careful when you say screw it on a nudist beach. That could definitely end poorly for multiple people involved.
You know, it could be taken in different ways, and no one can prove what your actual intent was, which is why.
As long as you can get away with it.
It's useful.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of the biggest data breaches ever. The hacker gained access to more than 100 million Capital One customers' accounts and credit card applications. This actually occurred back in March, because that's what always happens when data breaches occur. You hear about it months later.
Someone said it was an Amazon employee that did it.
Yes,
is that true?
Amazon employee named Paige Thompson, who
has
been apprehended as of Monday. However, that time between March and now, actually, you know, you can pretty much say that's not enough time. Definitely not enough time for that information to have
certainly not
been copied somewhere else. No way.
It's all backed
up.
up.
That in the 4 months, 4 months. Anyway, the data includes 140,000 social security numbers, 1 million Canadian social insurance numbers.
Is that like their version of social security numbers, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I guess so. social insurance.
Some weird Canadian thing.
80,000 bank account numbers, an undisclosed number of people's names, addresses, credit scores, credit limits, balances, and other information going back to 2005.
Wow.
As Kyle mentioned, Thompson previously worked as a tech company software engineer for Amazon Web Services, which was the cloud hosting company that Capital One was using, and via access to that was able to hack this data and steal it. Did that by exploiting a misconfigured web application firewall.
Wow.
So your data got stolen again. Everyone go freeze your credit. That's all we got for regular news.
That's crazy.
Very exciting. Let's move on to some sword fight.
Swing, 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 swing.
Where's the sword fight?
Whip it out.
Oh, that's not right at all. That's
no.
That's the wrong everything.
Whip it out and let's
Hold on,
touch tips.
I can fix this.
That should be the sound effect every time we start up this segment. Just a voice that says that.
We need audio to go along with it?
Yeah.
Here's sword fight.
For the full effect.
Sorry, sword fight we've recovered. Don't worry, we didn't break anything. We just switched to a XSplit.
Yeah, it's not a breaker.
Yes. All right, so we have 2 sword fights to do here. If you guys aren't familiar with how sword fight works, Kyle and I are going to argue about something. We have a straw poll that you guys can also vote on. Feel free to either vote on the straw poll right away if you have an existing opinion, or you can wait for us to tell you what your opinion should be.
I love doing that.
Listen to us argue about things,
Yep.
and then make your decision based on what you heard us argue about.
Make your choice.
Choose option 3. First thing we're going to sword fight about here is a new bill that's been introduced in the United States to ban autoplay videos and infinite scrolling on social media. Kyle, you've been victimized by this horrendous method of getting people to stay on websites longer before, right? Autoplay video. You finish one YouTube video, and the next one just plays.
It's terrible.
Or Netflix or wherever the hell you're watching.
Yeah.
It just plays again, whether you like it or not.
Right.
Rolls you right into the next thing.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Same thing with scrolling. I'm going to scroll. You know, it'd be hilarious if this PC Magazine article had infinite scrolling at the bottom. It doesn't. It doesn't. Good job, PC Magazine.
Oh, how ironic that'd be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Infinite scrolling. You know, you read a news article, you're scrolling down to the end of the news article, and then it just feeds you another news article right at the end, and it's like you don't even realize sometimes that you moved from one article to the next.
Yeah.
Insidious, horrendous usage of psychology. And so, the heroic Senator Josh Hawley, who is a Republican senator from Missouri, is proposing legislation that would force online services to stop using features intended to get us hooked on our gadgets like infinite scroll and autoplay video.
What a legend.
This act, if you're wondering, Kyle, probably the first thing you're going to ask is, does this have a smart acronym attached to it? Something that makes you think, why is Steve calling me right now? Steve, you know we're live, right? I'm going to answer. Hello, Steve.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's not Gamers Nexus Steve, it's our other friend Steve.
My guess is every single time I call, you're always polite enough to pick up, but you're almost always busy. Is this one of those times?
Well, you know Kyle and I are live on Awesome Hardware right now, Steve. I assumed you were...
God damn it. Of course I do. Of course I know.
Of course, Steve.
You're live, Steve.
You tune in every week.
Well, I guess it's a bad time to play catch-up, so...
No, we're totally fine. So what's life like lately? Like, what's up? Like, how you been?
It's pretty good, dude. I'm just kind of chilling. Thinking about going to In-N-Out to grab some meat. Kind of hungry. What about you guys?
Living the good life.
That does sound good.
Yeah, we thought about food, but then we're like, oh, we got to do this fucking show.
I know.
If only a good friend of ours who we've known for ages called us to give us a brief moment of fun.
Steve Crafty Hack says hi.
Crafty says
And he
hi.
misses you.
We need to play some Overwatch hardcore, and I will talk to you guys when you're not streaming.
Okay.
But yes, let's do that, okay?
All right.
For sure, we love you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Hey, Kyle, you told everybody that Heather's pregnant yet?
Heather's what?
Bye, Steve.
Shut up.
Bye.
You heard nothing.
That's horrible.
You heard
horrible.
absolutely nothing. It's not true. I mean, there's nothing to be true or not because you didn't hear anything.
Why would you even be upset then?
I'm not. I think it's funny that nothing happened. and that no beans were spilled.
Okay. What the hell was I talking about? I'm just gonna look back at my. Oh yeah, you were probably assuming like that you would be in support of this proposed legislation if it had some sort of snappy acronym attached to it.
Yeah.
The Social Media Addiction Reduction Technology Act, or SMART. Social Media Addiction.
I hate it when the acronyms are like that long and like drawn out. It's like, okay, someone thought way too long
Social Media
and
Addiction
hard
Reduction Technology.
to try to make that work.
Yes.
Addiction reduction technology.
This would ban infinite scroll, autoplay, or other addictive features on social media. It would require social media companies to accept decline options for certain features easy to understand. It would also allow people to monitor how much time they spend on certain sites and apps, and allow the FTC and HHS to ban other similar practices. HHS? Really? All right, sure, why not? Why not? Just give them all the authority to do whatever the hell they want. Too much of the innovation in this space is designed not to create better products, but to capture more attention by using psychological tricks that make it difficult to look away, says Senator Josh Hawley. The bill requires that 6 months after it's passed, social media companies implement the ability for users to set time limits on how long they can access the platform each day. The default will be 30 minutes, which means people watching our show would already have had their time cut off. That's by the default.
Damn.
That's just, I mean, you can go and change it.
They would have had their time cut off before we even started the show.
That's
we were
true.
more than half an hour late.
They would have jumped on early, and then they'd have just been sitting there on the wait screen.
And then just gotten kicked.
That's the future that Josh Hawley apparently wants for us.
That might be a little extreme.
There is also some demand, according to the article, although it's not clear whether it's actually in the legislation, for a pop-up to appear every 30 minutes, informing the user about their total time spent here. Definitely would help. Would also ban in-app badges or awards, like Snapchat streaks, if such award does not substantially increase access to new or additional services, content, or functionality. So, all of that said, and with the brief distraction from Steve, here is the question that we're asking you guys, or that we are going to be arguing about today. Over at Straw Poll. Should addictive websites, app techniques like autoplay videos and infinite scrolling be outlawed? Do we need legislation for this? Should the government step in order to protect us, the unwitting citizens, from this horrible, egregious use of technology? I finished that sentence. I almost gave up, but then I decided no.
Pads on the back for
Thank you.
Finished sentences today.
That. Like I said, it's the details.
Yep.
That's how we started the show.
It's all coming back.
It's all about the details.
Full circle. So I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to say the cop-out answer that everyone else is probably thinking and say, yes, these features should be outlawed because they are manipulative, and I don't like either of these. Autoplay videos are terrible. I've never once, okay, I shouldn't say never, but maybe there was one time out of a billion times, and even that's an exaggeration, but there's been very rare instances where I've finished watching a YouTube video, another video is autoplayed right afterwards, and I thought, wow, I'm so glad that this algorithm just put this video in front of my eyes without me prompting the decision. Thank you for thinking for me, algorithm.
What about music?
Music? Well, autoplaying videos.
You never play music on YouTube, and then it autoplays some other similar music and just rolls in, and you just kind of don't notice because the music keeps playing?
I honestly think there should be an exception for music that's in a playlist. Like if it's a music in a playlist, or if it's something that is auditory, like a music playlist.
Already weakening your argument, but that's fine.
It's not weakening my argument. There are different mediums. Okay, video is much different than music. Okay, if you want to listen to a soundtrack of a movie, you're obviously going to want to listen to multiple tracks in a row, so it makes sense. But if you're just watching an isolated video, then there's no reason that it's up to the algorithm at that point. No one can really know what video you're going to want to watch after the previous one. Whereas it kind of makes more sense. It's more linear and easier to sort of project with a music playlist. So I think for videos, the keyword here in the question is autoplay videos. And I think that's slightly different than...
Techniques like autoplay videos and infinite scrolling.
Well,
There's a family of...
I'm arguing for the videos. And here's the thing. I don't think it's quite as...
Weakens your argument again?
Clear cut. No, it doesn't. It doesn't weaken anything, Paul. All right, there are gray areas. It's usually people who only think in black and white who ruin shit royally. So what I'm saying here is that there's some exception to the rule. There are some instances where autoplay for things like music makes sense, and some people will want that. I would say even a lot of people would want that, or a good group of people, but I feel like very few people actually enjoy autoplay videos. If they did a survey, I would guarantee there's more people who would favor autoplay music than autoplay videos. So, and then infinite scrolling is just stupid. I don't like infinite scrolling at all. We can completely outlaw that, no exceptions.
Okay, Kyle.
Perfectly strong argument.
My response is to ask you.
Go to hell.
Where are we right now? Where are we?
Earth.
Let me tell you where we are right now. We're in America.
Oh no.
You know what America is all about?
Check your American privilege.
America is about freedom. Freedom, Kyle. That is why we have separation of the various branches of governments with checks and balances, because we know the government cannot be trusted. And the government needs to be held down as much as possible, and we cannot allow the government to come in and control our lives. We don't need a nanny state telling us what to do. People should be able to decide for themselves. I mean, I'll give you that. Like, this is bad. Autoplay videos suck in a wide range of areas. Infinite scrolling really sucks because it's a time suck. People have sort of a mental... people have sort of a psychological need to finish something. Like if you're reading something, and like, oh, well, you get to the end, and then you're finished, and then you can put your phone down or whatever and move on to something else. That takes that away from you. I'm not saying that's good at all. These are not positive techniques. But there's other negative techniques that are used online. Clickbait, like what's going to come in next?
I would know nothing about that.
Are they going to ban clickbait titles and thumbnails for YouTube videos, Kyle? Would you be in support of that?
I would go
is
broke.
That what you think?
I'd go broke overnight if clickbait was outlawed.
Should be done next?
No, definitely not.
Next, we're gonna have a law that says you cannot have a shocked, open mouth look in a thumbnail for a YouTube video. That's what this is leading us towards.
I'm gonna screen cap that later, and that'll just be a thumbnail for a YouTube video. Yeah, I just saved me some work. That's it.
Right. So, yeah. So you're getting multitasking, getting work done.
As long as they don't ban it.
Anyway, so this is my point. It's a slippery slope towards government control, and we should all reject it outright. Is it bad? Yes, but people are intelligent and should be trusted enough that they can determine when they're being exploited, taken advantage of, or otherwise manipulated. And of course, people who watch this show are more knowledgeable about this topic, and they should be happy about that. Let's see what you guys think. Results. Looks like most of you chose option 3.
Heyo.
Suckers.
But I got second place.
You got second place. Well,
not terrible.
Man, where are my libertarians at? You guys are supposed to back me up here. I thought, right? I was relying on a flock of libertarians to be. Anyway, sorry. If we're being honest, I would also be in the 50% group up here at the top, which is that, it's hard to have a binary conversation about something like that. There is, because I think there is a pretty serious problem with, especially, I want to say, the older generation who maybe didn't grow up with access to the internet and stuff. I don't want to get too deep here because we got to finish off my half of the show. Like, before our generation, in order to show something on TV, like there's a pretty significant barrier to entry. Like you had to have the production crew and everything, and be on a network and everything like that. The internet now allows people to present information with very polished looking and very presentable, but it's often just based on nothing, because anyone can set up a website and do whatever they want. So I think that is a pretty big issue and a pretty significant problem. But I think a lot of the solution lies in education for people, so that they can know how to discern for themselves, what is something that is good and accurate and true, and something that is
manipulative,
just up there to keep your eyeballs pointed at it to sell more ads.
Yeah.
Because that's honestly what everything boils down to, is money and selling ads. All right.
Our own time and attention can be the government.
Let's finish off my side with one last question, and on a bit more of a positive note, unless we're choosing option B, I guess. LTX 2019, which Kyle and I just returned from up in Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Not Columbia. Canada.
Beautiful Columbia.
Beautiful Canada. Was it worth our time, Kyle? We got two options here, yes and no.
What a controversial question.
What do you think? Because obviously Kyle and I both spent, I was there for 2 days. I flew up on Saturday, came back on Sunday evening. Kyle went out on Friday.
Yep.
And, you know, there were lots of fans there. Came up and said hi.
Great time.
Signed a few things.
Yeah.
Talked to people about their lives and, you know, what brings them joy.
Shook a lot of hands.
Shook a lot of hands.
Used a lot of Purell.
Washed my hands thoroughly after shaking lots of hands. That's just, you know, got to be safe and sanitary.
Yeah.
But all right, since you went first the last time, I'm gonna say yes.
Damn it.
I'm gonna say yes. Kyle, it was worth our time because, like, free underwear, right? We also had the option for free underwear. I think you took advantage of that.
I did.
I did get a hoodie. I got a float plane pin.
Yep.
Right there.
It's classic.
You guys notice me rocking that. So yeah, it was a fabulous event. I think it was unique because of the concentration of people who like watch our videos, who like the array of creators who were there, and then the fans who were fans of those creators who made the trip out. Like, it was just so, like, everyone who was there, like, you can go to something like a Computex or a CES or something like that, and, you know, there's probably going to be some people there who might recognize you and come up and say hi. This was the only event where I was like, there's a pretty decent chance that any person at this event I could go up to and they would know who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say that as a, like, they do me because I'm so popular and smart. It's just because, like, that's the crowd that was there. So it was all the people who were so super into tech, super into the tech YouTube channels, and specifically into the tech YouTube channels that are kind of around the PC building side of it, and PC gaming. So that was really cool. So many people came up and said hi. I couldn't walk 10 feet without, like, people coming up and then a line forming of people who wanted to say hi and tell me their stories and about how they learned to build a PC and all that kind of stuff. So yes, great event, totally worth our time. Kyle, why do you think that you shouldn't have gone and that it sucked?
You know, look at us now. Look at how terribly miserable we are, how tired. The con lag has settled in.
It's negatively impacted this show.
You know, LTX was a great high. But you know what else is a great high, Paul? Heroin. And you don't see me just shooting up straight to the main vein on the reg, because that shit has consequences. Consequences that we're facing right now. And I think by your laughter, we can all tell who really won the argument here today. That's all I got. That's all I got.
That was good.
It's a bit of a curveball.
I was about to say cocaine and you went with heroin. And, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Got to go with your experiences.
Cut right through it. Okay, what do you guys think? Was it worth our time? Option 3. Option
Gotta
3,
love the internet. Love it so much.
We will do our best to interpret that. But then, of course, yes, got the very, very close second to that. And yeah, I'd agree with that. We had a great time.
And 19 people are heroin addicts, apparently.
19 people, you know, you gotta get... You know, just living life one day at a time, I guess. Okay, that is all for my half. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Beautiful.
We still have Kyle's half. We still have an after party to do, so stick around. We're going to jump over to that. I've already taken too much time and we started late, so yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.